Welcome back to Devotions from History. On March 8th of 1839, Phoebe Palmer was born to Methodist evangelist parents. And Phoebe grew up loving music. What she loved most was to make up melodies. From the time she was a little girl, she would sit down at the piano and just make up songs. But she couldn't think of any words to go with them. Well, at 16, she married Joseph Knapp, and he went on to found Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. That's the company MetLife Snoopy is on all their commercials. Well, Phoebe kept on writing her songs, and one day when she was a little older, she sat down at the piano and composed a melody. And she thought, this one really wants to say something, but I don't know what it wants. So she went down to Brooklyn to visit her friend Fanny. Walked into the house and said, Fanny, I have just written a new melody, and it really wants something. Would you listen to it and tell me what you think about it? So Phoebe sat down at Fanny's piano and began to play this melody. But Fanny was kneeling down on the floor and didn't respond to her. Well, Phoebe thought she hadn't even heard what she was doing, so she turned around, played the whole thing again, and finally said, Fanny, what is it saying? Fanny sat up in the chair and says, Phoebe, it says, blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of his Spirit, washed in his blood. This is my story. And Phoebe said, sounds good to me. And history was made in the living room that afternoon when in just a matter of a few minutes, one of the most beloved hymns of all times was born because two girlfriends put their different gifts together to make beautiful music. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 tells us that there are all kinds of different gifts that God gives to the members of the body of Christ. And sometimes we get a little frustrated with our gifts. Maybe like Phoebe, she could make beautiful music, but she didn't know what it said. Fanny could hear what it said, but maybe didn't write so many melodies. And we need to remember that God has given us just the gifts that he needs for us to have. And we might be tempted to hide those gifts because we think they're not as good as somebody else's. But remember this, every Fanny needs a Phoebe. And so today, maybe run out and find somebody who needs your gift. Or maybe you've got something that you need somebody else to bring into you. Look for each other. Find the friends that God has brought into your life with the different gifts and celebrate the variety and diversity that God has put into the body of Christ. Because if we didn't have each other, we wouldn't make such good history.